Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to show you how I physically remove disease from the vineyard. From here, that way, I've already removed it, and what I have left to do is this row and this row right here. You can see how shaggy these look compared with these rows. Well, let me take you all the way to the end. Really nice and trimmed up. We'll walk down this row so I can show you exactly what I'm doing. That one isn't too bad. This is Japanese beetle damage. I'll find a real bad one. Hopefully I haven't cut it all out already. Wow. Yeah, there's some Japanese beetles. Wow. These don't look bad at all, but they still need hedging. Here we go. That right there, that yellow blotch, that's downy mildew. But on these other ones, there was areas where it had quite a bit of disease. There's some disease there. I believe that's downy mildew as well. We have this here that is likely anthracnose, but it could be downy mildew as well. There are a ton of diseases that affect grapevines. Some of them bacterial, most of them fungal. But in just a minute, I'm going to show you how to get rid of most of it at this time of year. This is late July, and the weather has just been incredibly hot and humid, and that's the worst time for grapevines. This is downy mildew right here. Show you the underside. It's got that down on it. Yeah, here's some more here. And the majority of that's all going to be on one branch. And again, I'll show you how I remove that in just a minute. Here we go. Some more here, some more here. Spot right there. Good deal right here. So far, I haven't run across any real bad areas on this vine. I think what I'll do is go down the next row and try to find a real bad area for you. And then we'll get in here and remove this stuff. And there's a fair amount on here. There was some really bad areas on the first row. I guess the first row is probably the worst row. I'm guessing this row is going to be fairly bad as well. I got this robin dive bombing me. There's a nest right there. I'll show you the little babies in there when we get to it. All right, I'm going to have to get started so you can see downy mildew on this one, and generally it will be an entire shoot that is diseased like this because the shoots are a lot more tender. But on this one, this is an older leaf, you can tell by the darkness, and that's pretty infected as well. Infection here, infection there, there, right there. But then you move on to the next one and almost nothing. There's a little bit right there and the start of downy mildew right there, but not that bad. Got a bit here and here. Little spot there. Yeah, it could be anthracnose, it could be downy mildew, and there's probably 100 diseases that affect grapes, but we're going to take care of that in a minute. Actually, I shouldn't say a minute, it's going to be tomorrow. I won't have enough time to spray today, but I'm going to give these a good spraying once I get the rest of the disease out of here. Okay, I'm going to get at this, and I'll bring the camera with me, and I'll pop it on my head and show you what I'm doing as I do it. Basically, this is like a normal hedging, but the disease wants to grow on the tender new stuff that's growing, and you want to remove that because it's growing into the aisle. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 thing. You can follow these shoots all the way back to the main shoot, and it'll probably have disease all the way back there. This one is kind of shading the lower part, so we'll just get rid of the majority of it. I want to open it up so that I can see the grass on the other side of the aisle. The other side isn't hedged yet, but up in this area, you can see clearly over to the grass on the other aisle, and you can really see it on this side because both sides are done on this side. So we're just removing all of this stuff that's growing into the aisle and just weird extraneous stuff. We're also removing overlapping stuff. And again, we're removing all of the stuff that's growing upwards. Don't need any of that. Hopefully you're able to see this. I don't know if the camera's aimed right. So anything that's growing out into the aisle, just follow it back and remove it. We're trying to expose the grapes just a bit. We'll expose them a lot more a little bit later when it's time for them to ripen, but we need to be putting the nets on at that time, so we're not going to expose a huge amount of them until right before we put the nets on. Okay, if I have 2 or 3 layers of leaves, I'll try to take the top layer off like I just did so that you can actually see through there. That way air can flow through there and dry these leaves off after the humid nights. Okay, down here, got a couple single leaves, and then we have this going all the way to the ground, and this one, that one has disease all over it. All right, that area is pretty much clear. Some of these spots might not be disease, but yeah, I believe that's probably anthracnose. Okay, a lot of times I do not have to get down on my knees for this stuff. Generally, you can just walk through and get this done. There is a good amount of disease in this area, and it looks like it's all on one shoot. Let's pull that out. It certainly is. So, because this one is over all these others, we'll just remove the whole thing. You can see the downy mildew on the back of that leaf, a lot of it, but it has downy mildew all up and down it. Goodbye downy mildew. And again, I'll be coming in here tomorrow and spraying this, so that should stop the return of any of these diseases. And it's getting later in the year, so hopefully we won't have too many of the really hot and humid nights. That's when this stuff really gets started, when it's over 70 degrees at night and very humid. All right, on this vine right here, we have disease here, here, and up in here. That's all new growth. And on this right here, which is covering a huge area of the rest of the vine, and that got a lot of the disease from the upper part out of it as well. So you don't have to take off all that much to remove the majority of the disease. And then I go back to the main shoot when I take these off. And that one goes back to there. Got disease on a couple. And down here we have a little bit of disease on this one, and this one. All brand new shoots. That pretty much clears it up. I'm going to hedge to the wire down here as well for airflow, but that pretty much takes care of the disease. All right. I can see a bunch of disease in here. Figure out where it's coming from. It's this shoot here. Almost all of the disease was on that one shoot. But we got to get rid of some of these other shoots as well. This one goes all the way to the ground. So we'll get rid of that as well. And then got a good amount of disease in here. Just take all this stuff off. And there you have it. I removed the disease and hedged it at the same time. Yep, got a chunk right there. We'll get at that. But first, get the rest of this stuff. Okay, made it to the end of the row. Now I gotta go dump this waste and come back down here, and I'll go up the other side of the row, and at that time I'll get the rest of this stuff on the top. Most of it was just a little bit too far to reach. And I'll also take a look at my work on both sides. Like that little shoot right there needs to come off, and I'll take any of that stuff off. I'm also picking up any leaves like that right there that I missed on the way down. Yep, and that had a little bit of disease on it. And a little bit right there. I should note that this purpley color on some of these older leaves, that is not disease. That is the vine pulling back potassium for the grapes. I'll be coming through here and fertilizing with potassium in about 2 days. Tomorrow I'm going to be spraying this, and then right after the spray I'm going to come through here and fertilize. Two things real quick. It's about 11 o'clock and you can see there's still water on this leaf. That's from the high humidity at night, and that's what causes disease. I'll be taking this leaf off, but this leaf right here, that's just the vine pulling back nutrients for the berries, and a little bit more of it up in here. Where is that? I just saw another one that looked like that. But anyways, about this time of year, the vines start pulling back nutrients to support the berries. So some of the stuff you see will be disease, and like this, that's just pulling back potassium. Like I said before, I'll be fertilizing with potassium likely tomorrow or the day after, but that's not really a problem. I just cleaned up this vine at the base so I can spray there tomorrow. But when I got up, I see all this disease here, and that is on a replacement cordon from that vine down there. So this entire thing can get out of here. Lots of disease on that. Now we just have the replacement vine there. I could remove some of this stuff, but there's not a lot of disease on this, so I'm going to leave that pretty much alone. I got a lot of disease right in this area right here. I cut most of it out, but I'm going to have to cut out a bunch on the other side as well. But the entire time I've had this crazy robin. Well, there's actually two. The male and the female are here. They have a nest right in here. Let me show you the little babies. There they are. Pretty much every year they make the nest in this same spot, and right before I put the nets on, they're gone. So that works out perfect. It's just that they really mess with me when I'm working in this area. I'll be out of here soon, Mama. Give me a chance here. Look at all this stuff that I got trimmed off just this one vine. These are the replacement vines for this new row. So now I have to do the same thing I did to this one on this one. And that is the same as all the other vines. Basically just removing the side shoots, and the vast majority, well, basically all of the disease is on these side shoots. I'll show you how quick this goes. Look at that. Just total disease. This is not diseased. That is a main shoot, but it's dragging on the ground, and we can't have any of this stuff dragging on the ground. Just gotta lift it up and hack it off. No need to be dainty on this. This vine has not received any kind of training yet, and it won't until I get the wire on, so I can do basically whatever I want with it right now. This is kind of a mess. Just filled with disease. And all of this disease came about within the last 10 days. 10 days of really hot, humid weather. Since the last time I hedged, there was almost no disease at that time. 10 days of hot and humid weather, and this is what you get. But for the most part, this will be completely under control because I'm taking out the vast majority of the disease, and then I'll be spraying tomorrow. Yeah, this one's worse than the first one. And that's because it's just all tangled up. We got stuff growing in circles in here. Yeah, this is just flopped over. I don't have any string right now, so I'll just cut this stuff off. There we go. Now we're getting there. And for the most part, any new growth on this will likely not get any disease because the really hot and humid days are over now, or for the most part over, and this will be sprayed heavily tomorrow, so it's not real likely any of the disease will come back. There we go. I think that's about it. Now I just got to get in and do some hand pruning down at the base, which it doesn't need much. Got a couple more leaves down here. Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll leave it as is. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up. So this was basically just another hedging, but by doing the hedging, I took out almost all of the disease. You could see everything looks quite beautiful. And like I said, I'll be coming through here tomorrow and spraying, and that spray will include 3 sprays. I'm going to spray the weeds in the row first, then I'm going to spray the vines, then I'm going to come through and spot spray these Japanese beetles. So 3 sprays tomorrow. Yeah, look at them. What I'll do is just come through. There's more right there, more right there. I'll come through with my Japanese beetle mix and just hit the beetles with a tiny little spray, and that'll kill the majority of the beetles. And hopefully next year we won't have that much of a Japanese beetle problem. I have a little bit of tying to do, and I'm not exactly sure where it was. I believe it was right over here by that bird nest, but I think I have some stuff to do in this last row as well. I have to have everything off the ground so I can just come through here and spray the glyphosate on these rows tomorrow. Yeah, it was this little one right here that needed tying up. I just need it up off the ground so I can spray. Look at all that stuff I took off of it. Needs to kind of look like these with clear ground at the base. Okay, that's it. Looking beautiful. And again, just by doing the normal hedging, I took off probably 99% of all of the disease in the vineyard. And when I spray it tomorrow, these should be good to go for the rest of the year, nearly. I'll have to do 1 more hedging and probably 2 more sprays, but the next spray will be the last spray before the nets go on, and it'll be a different kind of a spray. When I do those sprays tomorrow, I'll show you what the mixture is, and I'll show you where to get the stuff. Yeah, looking really good. And like I said, I won't need to get back in here besides the sprays tomorrow and the fertilizing. Other than that, I won't need to get in here for at least another 2 weeks to do any more hedging. And at the same time, I'm going to be putting the nets on. Yeah, there was a bunch of Phloxeria in here as well, which is, it's a little bug that lays their eggs on the leaves, and it makes like a wart-like structure on the leaves. I wanted to show you that, but I thought I was going to find a bunch more on that last row, but there was basically nothing. Almost all of it was on the front row at the far end. That's too bad. But look at all that disease. All of that disease is now out of the vineyard, and I'll be burning this pile, probably next week. I'm going to let it steam for a while and dry out. Take one last look. Yeah, looking beautiful. And as per usual, you can see right through the vineyard at the bottom. Real nice airflow. That helps things to dry after these hot, damp nights. Okay, like I said, the next video is 3 sprays. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.